Hey, hi everybody, Dan John here from Dan John University. Hey, listen, we've had a lot of requests for our Thursday workout, what we call Tonic Thursday. The word tonic comes from the same root as the word tune, and the idea is to kind of give a weekly tune-up to your body. It's like trying to adjust the wires that are on a sailboat's mast. The tradition is to do this on Thursday, because traditionally, most of the people I work with compete on Saturdays. So it's called the 48-hour lag rule. So I've been doing this since I first started coaching in 1979, and it just became part of what we do. With me today are some fabulous human beings, okay? First off, in the back there, this is Thomas Robinson. He's a baseball player. He's a pitcher. When I first worked with him, he could throw the ball 97 miles per hour. With my help, he's down to 83 miles an hour. So that's it. Back here is Kevin Mass. Kevin's an architect, and he's also a real serious backcountry guy. And proud to know him, he's also a cancer survivor. We're kind of breaking our own rules today. If you see this, we're still in the middle of COVID, but I have to be able to communicate with you, but we're making sure he's safe back there, okay? And this is my good friend Erica Lemke. Erica go like this. She's an author of a book called Stay Sexy.
Feel Sexy Again.
Feel Sexy Again. Feel Sexy Again. And I understand that the foreword of the book is absolutely amazing. Okay? So we're going to just bring us along. I'm going to be talking the whole time to coach. But the key here is, if you can, try to. This all comes from Tim Anderson and his great work called Original Strength. Keep your tongue stuck to the top of your palate, and just breathe, and try when you do these movements to use your eyes to lead whenever we do a leading exercise. We're going to start off with the basics. We're in the 6-point position. It doesn't matter if your feet are tucked in or flat. I like tucked in because it feels like squatting. And our first exercise is going to be the 6-point rock. All you do is just sit back and rock in place. My friend Reed Draper calls these pandiculations. If you are a person with joint issues, like myself, born with a condition called pistol grip hips, and when I was coming out of both surgeries for my hips, this is one of the first exercises I did, and the range of motion wasn't perfect, but you'll notice that right now I am doing the movement of squatting. Now, there's no load, but it's the movement. And really what's important, I think, is to keep doing the movement of squatting from cradle to coffin. Now, we're going to just sit back a little bit more, move our hands back just a tiny bit, and now we're going to gnaw. So you're going to look at your belly button. Now you look at the sky. You'll notice how I keep saying, look. Use your eyes to lead the stretch. Now, yes, this is a neck movement, but some people will call this cat-cow, cat-cow, cat-cow from the yoga tradition. We call these nods. We'll come back a few times as we go to check in on some things. Always come back to the nods to reassess how things are going. Now, this next one is going to be look at your shoes. You want to pretend there's a piece of glass right about here, and you have to keep your chin above the glass as you find your shoes. Where are my shoes? Where are my shoes? Where are my shoes? And as you do these exercises, feel where you're stiff today. Oddly, recently, with some of the different training things I've been doing, my obliques and rib cage have been tight. I hope that's a good thing. When I first did this exercise, it was a neck exercise. And now, it's kind of slid down a little bit lower. Let's move into another set of gentle rocks. And then I'm going to show you a little exercise that probably is one of the best hinge teachers I know. So this is the movement of squatting. Now if you'll join me, get into the tall kneeling position. Oh, and you'll notice my face is good. Actually, that's not a bad thing. for those of you who've seen me. All we're going to do now is we're going to push our butt back and come straight up. Back, up, back, up, back, up. Push the butt back, straighten up, back, up, back, up. What's interesting about this exercise, this is the hinge. This is also the best way I know how to teach the hinge. If you put a load here, yes, with your knees on the ground, better have pads, this becomes a variation of the Bulgarian goat back swing. They're probably picking up right now, the hamstring is getting oddly tired. If you were to do 500 of these a day with a load, you would get most of the benefits of the 10,000 swing challenge, but it's much simpler. Let's slide down to the prone position. And what I like to do here is don't be like this. Drive your elbows hard into the ground and bring yourself up. And let's get back to nodding. You look at your belly button, you look at your ceiling. You look at your belly button, you look at your ceiling. Erica, am I the best coach ever? Oh, thank you so much. See, I nodded in agreement. That's so nice. That joke never gets old. Okay, now this time we're going to go back to find your shoes. Try to keep that chin up high. Take your time. Every Thursday, this is basically all we do for about an hour. We toss in original strength just after that warm-up. Well, the general basic warm-up we do in our workouts. We do just 10, 15 minutes at most of this kind of thing. And now we're going to move to a fun one that's got an interesting name, and it's also a delicious thing to order at a restaurant, elbow rolls. So take your right elbow, and what you're going to do, and try to keep your hips down as much as you can. So it's okay if they peel off a little. Using your eyes, look at your elbow, and let it pull you over. Now relax, return to prone, and elbow, eyes looking back, back, back. And now just get a little momentum. If you use your eyes, you'll get much more motion throughout the whole spine. If you use just your, if you don't use your eyes, you'll probably get a little stuck here. I want you to use your eyes to pull you over. You can see my knee coming off. That'll give you an idea of how unflexible I am some days. Let's just check in with the prone neck nod to see if we've gotten. Sometimes these little check-ins indicate how good these can be. So drive your elbows up, and now we'll just neck nod. Let's return to the 6-point position. Now this time I'm going to ask everybody to stick their left leg to the side in a kickstand. And we're going to go right back to the 6-point rocks. Ooh. That was a nice little pop. Hope that's not a new surgery. Now, when you do this kind of original strength work, there's always a question, is this mobility, which is the free movement around your joints, or is it flexibility, which is a neurological trick to tell the muscles to go to sleep? I like to think it's actually what Tim talks about. It's building the vestibular system. You're going back to the basics here. This is the way you start off. So yeah, right now I'm feeling a nice little stretch and pump, and I'm moving around several joints, but I am doing we're just we're just gently moving in the right direction here. All right, let's bring the leg in, and let's kickstand to the right. I don't know about the others, but this might be my favorite of all of them.
Yeah.
How you doing back there, Ken?
Great.
If you want to see us train hard, come any day of the week and call me out. But I love the idea that we take one day a week to just kind of bring everything back. Let's get back to a set of hinge pumps. So back to tall kneeling. We're going to add one small thing this time. This time, as you go down, touch your right hand onto your left knee, come up, and then just do a few gentle sets like this. When I was at the Olympic Training Center in 1984, I had someone demonstrate a number of these things where you do right hand, left knee, right hand, left foot. To actually, the explanation they told me was that the brain, that whole right brain, left brain, the right side works with the left side works with the right side. And these series of exercises, they told us, actually help your brain figure things out. I've always found them very helpful for being calm. 6-point position. Now this time we bring the left foot up. Okay, and all we do is get back to that gentle rocking again. You should be gently breathing, tongue on the roof of your mouth, enjoying everything about what we're doing. One little exercise we add sometimes, we call this the B-boy push-up. So what we're going to do now is put your hands down in the push-up position, bring that knee up, and try to do a push-up. When you see me here, you'll notice I'm not doing a push-up. I'm doing something extremely ugly though. So it's not a strength movement, it's a flexibility movement. And return that foot to the back. And let's bring the right leg up. And again now, we're just gently rocking with the front leg up. You guys are doing great work here. Excellent, excellent. And let's move back to the B-boy push-up. And return to the 6-point. Now we're going to do some circles. Pretend you have a piece of paper underneath your belly button, and your belly button has a Sharpie on it. And you just want to make circles on the ground. Big circles. One of the things you'll notice when you do the tonic workouts is that the amount of conversation in the gym drops out to almost nothing. This seems to be almost like a magic elixir. It's like a rejuvenation. People get calm. Okay, let's go the other way. I just love what this does for my hips. So drop down to your elbows. We call this the 8-point position. Hands, elbows, knees, feet. And let's continue going in circles. If you make big circles now, you should feel these in your shoulder joints. The shoulders and the hips in Chinese medicine are called the 4 knots. Like a shoelace knot, you want them tight enough to stay on, but loose enough to untie. Let's go the other way now. And let's get back to the kneeling hinge. Okay, kneeling hinge. So back up. This time I'm gonna go flat-footed. Hand to the knee. At the top, try to squeeze the butt cheeks every time to stretch out those hip flexors. You should feel these deeply in your hamstrings. I would also suggest for many of you, if you're not actively using your hands, to point your thumbs backwards. Here's Fonzie, I want you pointing backwards. Many of us Americans especially live like this now. Try to get a little stretch in there. Okay, back to 6 point. This time you have a pen coming out of your belly button, piece of paper. What I want you to do this time is draw figure eights. Now, many people do this exercise wrong and draw infinities. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. And if you don't get that joke, don't blame your teachers. That's on you. Now, we do some stretches. We'll do these right now. I want your right knee to stay on the ground and get yourself into the half kneeling position. So on this one, the key is this. All the weight is on, you're going to drive that big toe as hard as you can into the ground. The harder you drive that big toe, the more that's going to get allowed to engage the glutes. You'll notice that none of us are touching our legs because we're trying to stretch this hip flexor. So big toe is pushed on the ground, squeeze your right butt cheek, and now this is Tarzan belly. Do a little Tarzan belly, make sure you're activated. The abs, consciously squeeze your right butt cheek, and there you go. Follow me, windshield wiper this foot to the left, and now just lay into that leg a little bit. Your legs should basically be kind of perpendicular, 90-90 position to each other. Some of the movements we do in a typical day, there's some controversy about them with some people. I'm going to eliminate those moves today. We're in a funny, our field of fitness is very funny. Exercises I did as a child and no one ever got hurt are now condemned. Things like merry-go-rounds, swings, monkey bars, ropes, all those things that make you a great athlete. Okay, now you're going to put your right hand on the ground. So your right hand, your right knee, and your right foot are all basically a straight line. Left leg off the 90. On this one here, here's the key. We're going to do a few pumps. We're going to reach in here and then pump to the sky. Use your eyes to lead it. So look under your armpit and then look to the sky. Let you guys start going on, coach. So here's the thing. On this one here with my right hand down, I close my left eye so that I'm going to try to get my right eye to find the ceiling. We call that the eye trick. As you do this, don't just let shoulder mobility, do the stretch. Try to bring that right pec towards the ceiling as best as you can. So left eye closed, right eye on the ceiling, get that pec around. Good. Bring both hands to the ground, both knees to the ground. And let's get back to our hip pumps. This time, let's try to go elbow. No, let's go forearm to the knee. So, right forearm, left forearm. Remember, at the top, squeeze off each and every one. Okay, let's bring the right foot up. Again, big toe actively pushing in the ground as hard as you can. Remember, Tarzan belly. Now we're going to squeeze the left butt cheek this time. That is a hip flexor stretch. You don't have to do all this other nonsense where you get yourself way out of here and all that. Really, when you're trying to stretch something, just stretch it. Don't turn into some kind of bizarre additional thing. Bring your leg out to 90, and let's just swim through that position. How you feeling, Thomas?
Good.
Thomas is wearing Utah gear. University of Utah, that's just fine. This side of the room is Utah. This side of the room is Utah State. All the smarter people on this thing. Left hand to the ground. Left hand, left knee, left foot in a line. Right foot basically about 90 degrees away. Now we're going to go back to those pumps. And this time I'd like you to close your right eye. Left hand down, right eye closed. If you remember, right about here, I can use my peripheral vision to see the ceiling. By closing that eye, I lose my peripheral vision. And now I have to turn my head all the way up to see the roof. And remember, you're trying to drive your left pec up, your left pec to the ceiling. If you have any issues with your arms or anything, you can also put your hand in that lower, on your low back and do the whole stretch here too. Let's go back to 6 point. We're going to do 6 point rocks and just check in with 6 point rocks. It's important to check in every so often. Now the next exercise is probably if you were to say you can only do one mobility move, which is a stupid question, for the rest of your life, which is a stupid question, what would it be? First I would have to slap you, but then I would probably say egg rolls. Now there's a thing I'm going to try to demonstrate. We're going to let these guys start doing egg rolls. I'm going to turn to my side and I'm going to show you the little key to the whole thing. So would everyone flip on their backs, please, and just start doing egg rolls for me. But the key to the egg roll, go ahead, yeah, keep going, as egg roll. The key to the egg roll, my hands on my knees, I'm going to roll, leading with my eyes, but here's the key. I'm going to try to look at you after getting all the way to the roll. So I'm using my eyes to ensure that I'm getting my entire body to stretch out. You can do this for up to 10 minutes at a time. In fact, it might be an excellent way for you to spend time after a long airplane flight or some kind of major issue of some kind, like an injury or something. Kevin is very flexible. He's doing a great job here. If I was to do a hierarchy on the movements, I would say the prone neck movements, the 6 point rock, the kickstands, and egg rolls. And that's how we're going to finish this today. We're going to review those again. And this will be your tiny little, just do this course, okay? Folks, you ready to summarize? Let's do this. Let's do a round of hip pumps, just the normal ones. Let's all pretend though that we have a load on our bellies. So if you ever want to do the 10,000 swing challenge, and all you have is something heavy, a rock, a willing child, you can do the 10,000 swings holding something here. By getting rid of the shins and ankles and feet, actually going to straighten up most people's problems. And also too, when you get to here, if you're still stupid enough to keep leaning back, I can only take it so far. So let's do a set of pretending we're doing Bulgarian goat bag swings with the hip hinge drill. Let's go. I use these as stirrups. Now, to teach what we're trying to do in the hip hinge. And now let's review the 5 big ones, okay? You guys join me on the floor in the prone. And neck knot. I've been a paid coach since 1979, and I have found that coaching and doing this workout is the most difficult thing I do, because my engine really starts to turn down. And what happens is I just want to hug you right now and have a cup of tea on a nice park bench. And it's hard for me to coach right now. All right, let's find our shoes. Does anyone feel any different since the first round? Yeah. What's cool about Find My Shoes is you can find where you're tight all the way back into your lower back. So if all you had time to do was prone neck nods and prone Find Your Shoes, that's going to be an okay day. And now let's move to the 6 point, to the rock. Generally, I would say people having your toes tucked in versus flat as is probably the best, because it mimics more the squat. Now, if you're very flexible, like many females, you can just widen those knees out or do whatever you do. This is also one of the new ways I'm using to teach people their squat stance. You certainly could always add Find Your Shoes in there, but let's just go to the kickstands right now. Good, and now let's go to the other side. Prone neck knot, prone Find Your Shoes, 6 point rock, if you wish, the neck nods and then Find Your Shoes. The kickstands, and then the 5th one I usually recommend, egg rolls. So we just review the egg roll again. Grab your knees, you're going to lead with your eyes, and you're going to roll and Z-peg. Mel Brooks. Young Frankenstein. Would you guys mind to just keep rolling for me? It'll be like the old Jack LaLanne videos where people worked out in the back while he talked. So, I hope that helped. We do more things in our tonic day. One of the things we spend a lot of time on, and I'm just going to review them very quickly, are the ankle, our foot, and vents, and the hand, wrist vents, and we'll go through those very quickly for you. Is that okay, folks?
Yeah.
Okay. So you will know these positions if you've done any yoga, but let's first off, let us go through the foot vents for me, okay? So I want to make sure my heels are together. I'm going to try to get the heels stay together, knees are together, and all I'm going to do is sit on my feet in the position sometimes called child's pose. Now, the moment you bring the weight back, you will notice that your heels start to split. So I want to consciously try to get your heels together. For those who don't believe in things like massage and all that stuff, a couple years ago, I took the 13-course Rolfing, R-O-L-F, Rolfing course. And one of the times, they spent the entire time, it felt like they were using a ball peen hammer, but they go between the two shin bones, and they just keep pushing and spreading the tissue on these bones down here. Ever since then, I've had no issue at all with the child's pose. Okay? Now, to make it harder, grab your hands behind your back, kind of mentally pull your shoulders back, go vertical, and add more load. The next one is sometimes called the toe breaker position. And this, all we do this time is bring the balls of our feet together, we're going to be up on our toes, and we're going to sit on them. And this is everybody's favorite. Now, since we live in Utah, it's important to remind everybody to make sure all 12 toes are on the ground. Okay, that's funny in Utah. Because we're downwind from all the atomic blasts and the chemical dumps. Okay, so that's the toe breaker pose. When I'm working with people at kettlebell circs, this sometimes is an exercise that actually helps them swing and snatch better because this is making their big toe finally engage. Kind of strange to say that, but it's true. Okay, now let's move to the wrist vents. Oh, these come from Steve Ilg, and the word vent, your hands and feet are extremely complicated little guys. So what you're going to see is when we do these drills, you're going to see this part of my hand become very white. So I always tell people that your hands and feet are like a furnace, and your wrist and ankle are like vents taking all that heat out. So the first one's pretty easy. You're going to point your hands back towards you, grab the ground with your thumb and pinky finger, and now all you're going to do is sit back. Now, this is very similar to what we used to do as Olympic lifters back in the 70s, but it is nice to have the next two to add to it. If you can see, I don't know how well it comes up on the screen, but my wrists are clearly turning white right now. And young Erica with her Finnish blood, you can see that happening too. Now the problem with Thomas is he's so white, he's so pale, that we would never do. In fact, that's not a red shirt he was wearing. He was out in the sun for 5 minutes yesterday, so. And now, one thing you'll notice, as you take your hands, you're peeling your hands off. This is why you shouldn't do, this will teach you why you shouldn't do flexibility work before you lift, because it'd be hard to hold on to a bar right now. Now this time, it's going to be, take your time on this one. You're going to put your hands down this way. So I would suggest putting the back of your palms close to your knees, put your weight on it, and then watch what I do with my elbows. See how I turn my elbows to you, and then sit back. So what we're trying to do here, the first one stretched you this way, we're trying to stretch it this way. Now I've had 2 great wrist surgeries because of hurting myself in an Olympic lifting meet. I broke this left wrist into 8 pieces, which I believe is a few too many. And my doctor was clear. He said I'd never lift weights again. But with exercises like this, I brought it all back. And finally, this one is called a fin. So you're going to stack your fingers up. So they're all stacked up. And all we're doing this time is we're going to push ourselves into the stretch, the fin. Now, you can also do it the opposite way, this way. But for most times when I work with teams and stuff, we just do it this way. That seems to be enough. So, to ease up now, I'm going to ask my cohort to do egg rolls while I thank you for your kind attention. And I really got to thank these guys for helping out. This is a Thursday workout. You'll notice it's just over half an hour, though you could go much longer or much less depending on what you need to do. Don't forget the tonic work, the tune-up work. That's going to make a difference in your career. I'm Dan John from danjohnuniversity.com, and I'd like to thank you for watching today.